every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. Get to my neighborhood. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car. Fucking good. What the? Dude, you did a murder for what?
That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking country. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car. Oh! Fucking good.
You! Shame! 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 Dude, what's happening to her? What happened? Dude. Dude, you shot her! I'm trying to help! No! No! You fucking shot someone in the fucking face!
All the way back. All the way back. All the way back.
You shot someone in the fucking face! Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? Don't let the murderer leave! Don't let the murderer leave!
I'm not gonna tell you guys to crime scene. All the way back.
You guys are the fucking criminals! You don't get to tell us what to do! Fucking criminals! Don't let him leave! Don't let him leave!
Pussy motherfuckers, man. Man, shit.
No! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Yeah, it's a fucking crime! We fucking know it! We're here! Yeah, like what the absolute fuck, man? What the absolute fuck? Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? This is the time, man. This is the time to have a conscience. This is not okay. This is not okay. Get a fucking conscience.
Yeah, can you look at me and tell me you're doing the right thing?
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
You didn't fire any weapons. Fucking your people did that.
In the head. In the head.
I didn't do anything.
And she drove me to the floor.
Murderer. You, look at me. Look at me. You can't even.
Watch out, man. Watch out.
Why don't you look at me? I thought you could do it. You so
No, you're fine. You can stay here. If you move somewhere, just let me know where you're going.
You okay, mommy?
They just killed that lady right there in that car, y'all. Killed that lady in that car. It's a lady right there in that car, y'all. Y'all know who car this is? Tell them to come check on their people.
somebody that's medically trained is pronouncing this woman dead.
Lady got blood. They don't, she was in the car with her, bro. Or she tried to save her or something. Somebody come get their people. Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your peoples yet?
We're new here. I don't have.
Man, I just smoked this lady right here, cuz. I just smoked this lady right here, bro. Hit her in her. Her wife was in her car. Her wife up over there with blood all up over her face and bro. Like, they guys just really came out here tweaking, bro. I was in the crib chilling. Just heard some shots. Yeah. That's her, y'all. ICE done killed her.
Man.
It's too cold out here, though. I don't know what kind of pose those, them bitches.
This is not for over there.
See, they took the body all the way down there somewhere. Shot her in her head while she was driving, trying to record them. She ended up crashing to that crashed to that. Her wife got out the car, blood all over her face, got the crying and shit right here.
There was a red SUV parked right in front of our house. Two people in camouflage, ICE agents, presumably one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side of the vehicle. A third person in also camouflage fatigues came and started pulling on the driver's side door handle, at which point the vehicle backed up a few feet and started driving forward. The agent who was on the driver's side originally, who was not pulling on the handle but had been there prior to that, shot 2 or 3 times through the driver's side window. The car drove a 30, 40 feet and crashed into another car in the telephone pole.
I'm going to show you the moment an immigration officer shoots and kills a woman in Minneapolis, 37-year-old Renee Good. It's disturbing, but it's critical to understanding how the law will handle those who enforce it. And really, it boils down to about 3 seconds and 3 shots fired. The driver of an SUV reverses, pulls forward, and the agent in harm's way shoots and kills. These crucial moments, and very possibly this video in particular, the clearest I've yet to see, form much of the basis of the official government account of what happened. That the driver was a violent rioter who weaponized her vehicle in an attempt to kill, and that the ICE officer, fearing for his life, fired defensive shots. Within hours of the incident, Donald Trump would agree with that version of events, saying the driver of the SUV violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, while also claiming the officer seems to have shot her in self-defense.
This vehicle was used to hit this officer. It was used as a weapon, and the officer feels as though his life was in jeopardy.
I'm going to take you frame by frame through what we know from video evidence, expert opinion, and hard rules on the use of force, all of which could be used to determine whether this was indeed self-defense or something else.
Don't let the murderer leave!
We want the murderer of Renee Nicole Good to be brought to justice.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, ICE agents were carrying out a quote-unquote targeted operation in Minneapolis, and the official account is that civilians were trying to block them in. Video of the shooting about to unfold appears to support this, with this dark red SUV blocking the road, and these are ICE agents approaching the driver's side. We can see from this other angle, the SUV is actually parked here for some period of time. This man right here is the officer who within moments you will see drawing his gun. He's filming the car, walking around it, then disappears out of frame. Back to the other angle. The armed, hooded agents approach, ordering the driver blocking their way to get out of the car. You can see here, the reverse lights go on. Just a split second before, this ICE agent puts his hand on the door handle. He's going to try to open that door, but it's locked.
No!
The voice we're hearing there is of a bystander. What we can't hear is the driver herself. That's a key piece of evidence we're missing, because when weighing the totality of what's happened, the apparent fight or flight of the driver absolutely factors in.
That can include verbal cues, facial tics, whatever you're seeing. Someone has a look in their eye, you need to get in there, interview the officers who are right there, interview the officer himself involved in the shooting, get a better understanding of what it was he was seeing and what led him to believe that this posed such an imminent danger.
No! No!
Now, if we pause the video again right here, a whole series of things are about to happen in rapid succession, and I'll break them down one by one. First, you'll notice the reverse lights are off. The car's back in drive, and for the briefest of moments, at a complete stop. Second, the agent who just tried to open the driver's side door has now reached inside the vehicle itself. But third, and most importantly, we now see a third ICE officer emerge. This is the one we saw earlier, filming the vehicle circling around it. He's in front of the vehicle now, and he's drawing his gun.
There's no restriction about when you can take your weapon out of your holster or not, but normally it's when you feel like you are a potential threat. For instance, if you're engaged in an arrest, you have your weapon out in most cases during an arrest.
It's as the vehicle starts to accelerate forward, turning to the right, away from the officer with the gun, he fires 3 distinct shots. The driver immediately loses control of the vehicle. Seconds later, it crashes hard into a parked vehicle on the side of the road. And we learn later, the driver's dead.
Oh my God! What the What the
So knowing how the altercation ends, let's play that video out once again without stopping and starting. Then we'll consider whether this supports or discredits the Trump administration version of events.
No! No! Shame! Shame!
In considering the federal narrative of what happened, let's go from easy to hard. Recall the story told by the President of the United States that the driver of the SUV violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer. It is incorrect to say the ICE officer was run over, because he wasn't. He's on his feet in front of the vehicle as the driver hits the gas. He appears to almost jump out of the way, and by the time he's firing his second and third shots, he's clear of the vehicle's path. He's still standing, even as the driver loses control. And within seconds, he's walking towards the car after it's crashed. What we can't be sure of at this point is whether he was actually clipped by the car. Trump's account is that the officer took time to recover in hospital, and he offered this video as proof that the officer was indeed hit. From this angle, it does seem possible that he was, but it's not conclusive. The video's so grainy, and honestly, it's hard to tell whether the compression of the zoom is just making it look like he was hit, or whether he was actually hit. Going back to this angle, it's still not totally clear to me whether he was or wasn't. It's hard to tell if he's pushed back by the car or he's simply jumping back out of the way. In any case, the real legal question at hand isn't actually so much about whether the officer was run over. It's whether he was justified in shooting and killing the driver.
As he was crossing in front of a vehicle, which the training says you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't cross in front of a vehicle.
And whether the training was followed is one thing to consider. This policy directive from the Department of Homeland Security states, DHS law enforcement officers should avoid intentionally and unreasonably placing themselves in positions in which they have no alternative to using deadly force. Translation, if you truly believe the subject you're dealing with is a violent and dangerous rioter, it is not standard procedure to then step in front of the vehicle that they're driving. But what about when the situation turns deadly?
What I see is very clear. I see somebody not listening to law enforcement, backing up, accelerating right into an ICE agent. What do you see?
What I see is a vehicle being used as a deadly force weapon. And that, in my opinion, based on my training, deadly force is justified.
ICE has its own handbook, its own principles governing the use of force. And here's the entry on deadly force, which stipulates it may only be used in situations when an officer has probable cause that the detainee poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or to another person. But importantly, deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. So let's look again at the clearest video we have. The operative question here, which really only a thorough investigation is going to be able to answer, was this driver fleeing from ICE agents or actually trying to run one over? And importantly, whether it was reasonable for the officer to think it was the latter.
The officer cannot read the mind of the driver. He only sees the vehicle coming towards him, accelerating towards him, and he is in the pathway. And so the evaluation is, given these circumstances, what would a reasonable officer do in that circumstance?
What makes cases like this really difficult is that you're going to hear fierce opinion from both sides. One attorney, as on Fox News, saying this.
You know, you can freeze frame it, you can go forward a frame, oh, here she seems to turn to the right. The bottom line is that agent had about a quarter of a second to make a decision, and when he made that decision, that car was accelerating towards him.
But then another attorney, obviously a Democrat, saying the opposite, calling Trump's explanation pure gaslighting.
What I can tell you is the narrative that this was just done in self-defense is a garbage narrative. That is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying.
Originally, the state of Minnesota, led by Democratic Governor Tim Walz, says it asked to be part of the investigation into this deadly shooting. But now, the federal attorney's office says they're off the case. The FBI, headed by Trump appointee Kash Patel, is the sole investigative authority on this matter.
On Wednesday, in Minneapolis, a federal agent fatally shot a motorist, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. Trump administration officials said these were, quote, defensive shots, fired because the officer was being run over.
And a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over.
But our analysis of bystander footage, filmed from different angles, appears to show the agent was not in the path of the victim's SUV when he fired 3 shots at close range. Here's how events unfolded. Moments before the shooting, the victim's maroon SUV is stopped in the middle of the street. Multiple unmarked federal vehicles are idling nearby. Secretary Noem alleged the motorist, quote, was blocking the officers in. Bystanders are blowing whistles and yelling at federal agents.
Go home to Texas!
Then, federal vehicles start moving toward the maroon SUV, with sirens and lights blaring. A federal agent films the scene on his phone. The driver rolls forward slightly, turning left, then stops and waves for others to go ahead. 2 agents exit this silver pickup and walk toward the vehicle.
Get out of the fucking car.
Moments later, shots are fired. Let's look at the scene again more closely. This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle. One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun. He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from the agent. This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer. President Trump and others said the federal agent was hit by the SUV, often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle. And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV. The SUV crashes into a white car parked down the road. A bystander runs toward the collision. The federal agents on scene do not appear to rush to provide emergency medical care. Eventually, the agent who shot the motorist approaches the vehicle. Seconds later, he turns back around and tells his colleagues to call 911.
Shame! You shot someone! You shot someone!
Agents block several bystanders who attempt to provide medical care, including one who identifies himself as a physician.
I go check a pulse.
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician.
I don't care.
Understand.
At the same time, several agents, including the agent who opened fire, get in their vehicles and drive off, apparently altering the active crime scene. Trump administration officials said these were, quote, defensive shots, fired because the officer was being run over.
And a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over.
A federal agent shot and killed a woman during a large-scale immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis on January 7. Eyewitness footage from various angles show how the incident unfolded. The person in the dark red SUV, who we now know to be 37-year-old U.S. citizen Renee Nicole Good, appears to wave the agents to go ahead past her car. At the same time, a federal officer can be seen walking around the car. Two more agents approach the car on the driver's side, telling her to get out. One of them tries to open the door as the car starts to reverse. The agent, who goes on to shoot Good, is now at the front of the car. He draws his gun as the car starts to move forward and appears to turn right. He fires the first shot. He then fires two more shots as the car pulls away. The vehicle then veers off the road and crashes into a nearby parked car. Another angle shows that the car may have made contact with the agent before the first shot was fired. But due to the quality of the footage and the distance, it is hard to ascertain if contact was made. If we go back to this close-up footage, it appears that the officer was not in the car's path. Shortly after, he's seen returning to his car and heard shouting, "Call 911."
Shame!
In a post to X, Homeland Security said that Good had attempted to run over law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them. They said the officer who fired acted in self-defense. This claim was disputed by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit.
Vigils and protests across the country were held in the aftermath of Good's death.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
This last Wednesday, January 7th, a woman by the name of Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent named Jonathan Ross. Immediately, video came out about it, and then more video came out about it. Immediately, people took sides. Many of those people were at the highest levels of American government, namely the President of the United States and the Vice President, immediately casting their opinions on who was at fault and who wasn't at fault.
She was so loud and so crazy and just not normal.
This was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people, using domestic terror techniques.
And she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over.
You look at what the definition of domestic terrorism is, it completely fits the situation on the ground.
I am actually talking to you from a parking lot in a vehicle that is a little bit bigger than Renee's vehicle. She had a Honda, but this is a Ford Explorer. I have watched all the videos so many times because the 5 different videos that have been put out of this interaction between Renee and Agent Ross, each one shows you a little bit more, and each one reveals a little bit more about who might be at fault, why there might have been tension. I obviously have my opinions, but I feel like if I can walk around this vehicle using some techniques that I'm able to triangulate from the videos and the clips, you might be able to have a better understanding of the interaction as well. I'll also have a chance to talk about the idea that you're going to call this person a terrorist, justification for using deadly force. And I'll talk about how these sorts of measures and this sort of attitude in America, particularly right now, is so vastly different from the opinions and the ideas of the people that exist in countries outside of the United States. The conversation of the right to kill somebody is a conversation that is pretty unique to the United States of America in this sort of way. Renee was driving an SUV not unlike the one behind me. Mine is a little bit bigger. The front end is a little bit wider than her Passport. It has a front emblem in the center of the hood, and it's got the two headlights here, and you'll see why that's important later. Renee came to the scene, dropped off her partner on the side of the road, and then turned her car on a slight angle, blocking one of two lanes on a residential street, knowing that ICE was coming down the road from this direction. She sort of sits there for a couple of minutes. She's honking her horn, and she's doing a little bit of a dance. Not the signs of a terrorist. Maybe the signs of somebody who's a little bit excited, maybe too excited to be a protester or an agitator. She's honking her horn, she's having a good time, but another thing that she's doing is she's looking out the window and she's waving cars past her. It doesn't seem to be that she's intending to block the street 100%. It's obvious for the fact that she's letting people pass by her. She's just trying to be an obstruction, a slightly porous obstruction, mind you. So at a certain point, ICE gets frustrated, and as she's parked on a diagonal, a car pulls around her from the back, that's Agent Ross, and parks on the side of the car on the opposite side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk around the vehicle just like Agent Ross did on that day. He was recording with his phone, and his phone, you can see by the footage, was held out in front of him about 1.5 to 2 feet away from his body. And that's important because when you look at the perspective that he shares, you're looking at the perspective of the camera down below 2 feet out. You're not looking through his eyes. So Agent Ross came on the scene. He had his camera out, and the first thing that he saw was a cute dog in the window kind of staring at him. What happened then is he approached the front of the vehicle, and you could almost see both headlights. Now, like I said, my Explorer is a little bit wider. Comes into the scene, and then right away you see Renee's smiling face. Whether it's snarky or not, that's not what I'm trying to debate. But she was pleasant in what she said.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
I'm not mad at the man who's about to kill me. The irony there is very, very sad. Then at that point, you see the officer, you see the camera in his hand. You can kind of see how far he's holding it from himself. And he walks around the back to get the license plate. As he walks around the back, he comes in close. You can see the back of the vehicle. You can see the rear of the vehicle. He argues with Renee's partner, and then there's an altercation between the two. And then he steps away from the vehicle a little bit, gets some distance. At this point in time, he starts walking in front of the vehicle again, and we see agents approach in a pickup truck, and they're going to try to pressure her into getting out of the vehicle. That's where you have some very critical points in this whole interaction that I don't think a lot of people are paying so much attention to. He's got about 3 steps as he's crossing the front of the vehicle. You can see from different points of view that he was around the left side, the driver's side of the vehicle. In one view, that's a couple of properties away, it's like a security view, you can see that his body blocks and then reveals the headlight as the vehicle is moving. That meant that he was all the way almost beyond the vehicle's driver's side in that view. In another view, you see his feet moving, and you can see that his feet, when he fires the first shot, are actually beyond the driver's side of the vehicle. I am saying that if you are beyond the driver's side of the vehicle and there is no worry about great bodily injury, you should not have fired on Renee once, let alone 3 times in the face. As her Passport starts to adjust to leave the scene, whether you believe that's okay or not, I'm not arguing that, but as she backs away, you see him take a final step forward into the vehicle, in the front of the vehicle, before the video cuts out in this one clip. This is the only clip that I have seen that really judges the distance of him in front of the car. After that, we got to play on the other clips that can kind of position us where he was on either side of the car. One of the interesting things that one of the clips reveal is what happens with his camera when he's recording the interaction as he walks around the front of the car and as the car moves forward. From a far distance, it's a very, very short clip, that his hand touches the hood and his gun is already out at that time, and he leans into the car. Now the car is coming across him and he's sort of losing his balance, but there's a point where he leans in and his hand is fully outstretched and he fires a shot through the windshield, bottom driver's side corner, into Renee Good. At that point in time, this leg here, you can see in a couple of the other shots, steps back, and as the car passes by, this is a real clincher, he fires 2 shots through the open window into Renee Good. Without the car moving, he comes across, he's filming, the car starts to move forward, it closes in on him, he lays his hand here, steps forward, leans into the car, shoots Renee Hill, takes 1 step back, and he's free. 1 foot might have been in front somewhat partially of the taillight, but his arm was here, his other arm was here, and then he walks away. Now, what happens after the shooting is equally chilling, because as what seemingly is Renee's lifeless body propels the vehicle forward unconsciously to impact a vehicle down the road, you hear Agent Ross refer to her as a fucking bitch. He's not concerned about his health. He's not concerned about being injured. He's not really concerned about his fellow agents. He just wants to be angry at the woman that he just murdered. Fucking bitch. And there's some other interesting things here. As soon as he took an action to kill Renee, her controlled vehicle turns into an uncontrolled vehicle. And you can see it by it being propelled down the street. If her steering wheel wasn't lined up straight, she would have driven into a house, into a crowd. She impacted a vehicle, but she could have impacted so much more. Now, you could see from the point where I was kind of reenacting the way that I think he laid out on the hood, which is proven by a lot of the video clips, you can see, one, that he was not in the direct path of this vehicle. He was brushed aside at best, and he was leaning against the hood from off of the hood. 2, he fired 1 clean shot through the windshield bottom driver's side corner. Agent Ross has a history of being a firearms instructor. He apparently had been through 100 different vehicle interactions, and 7 months prior was involved in an accident that dragged him 50 to 100 yards down a road in a previous interaction.
That very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile?
This guy should understand to respect a vehicle that is running, that is not piloted by an agent, and is unpredictable. And he decided to walk around this vehicle 2 times. The second time he walked around it, the vehicle was backing up, turning tires, and ready to go. Instead of taking that half step off to alleviate the opportunity to even potentially have to be brushed aside by a vehicle, he instead unholstered his gun while the vehicle was starting to move forward, and in a full second it takes to step away or to lay on that hood and point that gun at the driver and shoot that person in the face. But he didn't just do that. He shot her in the face, got his footing again, looked through the open window directly at this woman's face, and shot her 2 more times, sending her now unmanned vehicle to careen down the road, potentially killing somebody else, injuring somebody else, and luckily it just hit another car. Use of force with a firearm in law enforcement has to satisfy 3 pillars. All three. If 1 pillar is gone, you shouldn't have used your weapon in that instance. And what that action has to be is reasonable, necessary, and imminent. It wasn't reasonable for him to fire a weapon on a suburban street at a woman that was driving a car with her wheels turned away. And the fact that he could call her a fucking bitch and casually walk over to her car also shows that it wasn't necessary, because whether he shot her or not, he would have still regained his footing and watched her either drive away, to which they can follow her because he recorded her license. There was no worry that she was going to go careening down the street and hurt somebody. She was just trying to leave the altercation, which, again, if you want to agree that that was something that she shouldn't have done, that's okay. It certainly wasn't warranting her death. By the time he fired that first shot, he was already off to the side of the vehicle. So there was no imminent need to fire a firearm. Even giving him all that credit, saying that he was scared, he had been dragged down the street by a vehicle before, and so he probably shouldn't have been in a situation where he was potentially interacting with other vehicles again. Maybe he was a little bit too fearful, but I don't know how fear goes in, because he didn't seem fearful when he said fucking bitch to her as she drove away. Fucking bitch. But even if you gave him all the credit in the world for that first shot, accidentally, his hands on the hood, his fingers on the trigger where it shouldn't be unless you're ready to fire, and he accidentally fired through the corner of the car into Renee's face. The idea that he can step back, point that gun into the vehicle, and fire 2 more shots to Renee's face. It boggles my mind, to be honest. I have had a really tough time digesting all of these reports, because there are some people who think that Renee had every right to be killed on that street. There are some that feel some nuance. Well, she was stupid, she was co-opted by the left-wing ideology or whatever. There's people like Donald Trump who thinks, shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't be going against my thugs going around America doing whatever they want to do.
I said, this isn't a normal situation. This is a professional troublemaker. And how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
They were peaceful people. These were great people.
She was so loud and so crazy and just not normal.
And then you've got other people who are on the other side, who say her protests were completely within her right. It was okay for her to block the road. That is probably one of the more debatable points. She was in the middle of the road blocking ICE. They could get around her. She was waving people around, so there really wasn't an obstacle that couldn't be avoided. She was creating herself as an avoidable obstacle and a bit of an annoyance to the agents. I know people on the left and right. I got people that I know that haven't voiced this opinion, but I think believe that the killing was justified. And I've got people completely on the other side in my family who are avid anti-Trumpers and avid progressives. I wouldn't justify them being murdered because they felt so frustrated by the system working the way that it's working now that they would park themselves in a street and block ICE officials. You know, when he said fucking bitch to her as her car careened away, if she was intending to kill him, she would not have turned the wheels away from him. She would have gone through him and then turned the wheel to go down the street. The other argument to use deadly force is to protect yourself or others. And as I said, I don't think he was in any danger of being run over, so he wasn't worried about protecting himself. And in essence, he actually took the protection away from others in the area by firing those 3 shots when there were people standing all around. The shot could have gone through the vehicle and hit somebody on the other side of the vehicle. And as the vehicle careened down the street, now out of control because Renee was at that point either seriously injured or dead, the vehicle became the true weapon that everybody's assuming that she was trying to use in the beginning by quote unquote trying to run over Agent Ross.